And now, ladies and gentlemen, from the site where legends are made, Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas, Nevada, let's get ready to rumble! 12 rounds of boxing for the heavyweight championship of the world. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the gold trunks with black trim and weighing 217 pounds. This 1984 Olympic medalist has a professional record of 29-1 with 22 KOs. He is a former two-time undisputed world champion in 2 different divisions. Ladies and gentlemen, from Atlanta, Georgia, the challenger and former heavyweight champion of the world, Evander Holyfield. And across the ring, his opponent fighting out of the red corner, wearing the white trunks with red trim and weighing in at 246 pounds. He's also an Olympic medalist, winning super heavyweight silver in 1988. Since turning professional, his record is a perfect 34-0, 29 by knockout victory. And tonight, he defends his title for the 3rd time. Ladies and gentlemen, from Brooklyn, New York, presenting the undefeated heavyweight champion of the world, Riddick, Big Daddy Bowe!
So here are the instructions coming now from Little Mills Lane. He's a tough referee, this fellow. Great physical shape he's had, no doubt about it. So there it is, as I said, repeat or revenge.
Okay, now, Eddie, I want to tell you, if he goes right here, I'm not going to call it low, but it's going to be all right. Fair enough? All right, now, this is for the championship of the world. We've already gone through all the instructions one time. I expect a tough, clean fight. Protect yourself at all times. Any questions from the challenger?
No.
Any questions from the champion? Let's get it on.
That's a great start, isn't it? I think he was in court there as he was asking any questions like the judge did before the off. Well, there you go. The pleasantries are over, and the real stuff begins. 17 stone 8, reminder, Riddick Bowe. 15 stone 7, Evander Holyfield. Holyfield says he wants to get off to a hard start. Now this dollar's dropped from every facet of this fight. And yet not so long ago, they were sparring when Bowe was a 17-year-old amateur. He sparred with Holyfield. Oh dear, Jim, you can hear those thudding in here close at the ring now. They are wicked punches already.
If Bowe's getting home straight away, Reg, that's the last thing Holyfield needs.
Straight away. His 2 defences have been quick. He'd like to bring that off again. He wants to take the play away, try and dishearten Holyfield in the first round. Got such fast hands for a big man, isn't he, Bojan?
Yeah, and it's the way he marches straight in, Reg. He's got a tremendous attitude to the game. He really believes he's the best, and he just wants to wipe everybody out who stands in front of him.
Tremendous transformation from his amateur days, and that's not taken any glory away from Alex Lewis, who did a real good job on him, of course, in the Olympic final in Seoul, and stopped him in 2 rounds. But he's really got himself together as a pro now, and the Eddie Futch tutelage has paid off. He won't fight a gutsier fighter than Evander Holyfield, Jim. He won't be bothering to count his money now. Pride's at stake.
Bowe's getting through with punches right away in the first round, and that's really a bad sign for Holyfield.
Been developing an uppercut actually, Riddick. Eddie Putch was telling me that how impressed he's been with him working in the gym. There's always something new with each fight he comes up with. We can't talk as though we're saying that Holyfield's the loser already, Jim. I mean, he's such a competent fighter. One loss in 30 fights, remember.
You have to remember, Reg, he didn't really budge Bowe with his punches in the previous fight, so we can't really expect him to do it here. I know he's heavier, but he's never really had true heavyweight punching power.
He called that one, Jim, one bad day at the office after 8 good years. I tell you what, there's a lot of punches and correct punches in the opening round of a heavyweight fight. It's not as though the moves have been choreographed for them after 12 hard rounds last time. This is the 13th round, isn't it? This is a carry-on.
Excellent first round.
That was some opening round.
Okay.
Well, already there, a little bit of a mark under Bowe's eye. That surprised me, getting that end swell on, the old, what I still call the doll's house iron there. They leave in the bucket and just push away the swelling.
And try to keep the pressure on it.
See that? Keep the pressure on him, you see.
Just keep working the rhythm, and when you get through with your punches, drop to the inside. You understand? Push him. Get your leverage where you can use that strength. Push the big ball down. Don't put too much. No, you don't want to.
Now then, let's have a look at that again.
Well, I was said the difference in the first round was only in Bowe's strength. Holyfield came in with some good shots, trying to stay mobile, but whenever they trade off, just the sheer bulk, strength and power of Bowe is obviously going to be the big problem.
Second round. And if that's a taste of things to come, we're in for a really good fight again. Holyfield, he's been saying, well, I want to make up for the mistakes I made last time. And one of those rounds, the 10th round, well, all the experts say it's one of the greatest rounds in heavyweight history.
We also have to remember, Reg, apart from the physical disadvantages Holyfield has to face, he is probably slightly past his peak himself. He's not quite as good as he was, not quite as sharp. And what the previous fight must have taken something out of him, Reg. That was a real hard night's work.
Yeah, you get a bit shell-shocked after a fight like that. Oh, they're roughing it up now. Bill's Lane's having a problem there. And if Bowe was to play him there, Jim, he was hitting and holding in the first minute of the second round.
Holyfield certainly looking sharp, Reg. Getting the punches off quickly.
Cracking cruiserweight he was, wasn't he? He could have been champion forever if he'd have maintained that weight. But this is where the money is. Oh, that was the one that got away, and weren't the crowd disappointed?
Watch the head. Watch the head.
Just see that, he's saying out there, Bowe, watch his head. Admiring the referee to do his job. Before they fought last time, Jim, there was well, not a doubt, but a wonder whether Bowe really had the heart for the game, which they think went back to the Olympic final. They weren't very happy about the Americans. But they'd underestimated Lewis, actually. That was the problem there. But his heart was big in that last fight, Jim. I haven't got the slightest doubt about that, have you?
Not in the slightest, no. Just the extra little bit of reach he has here with his jab is causing Holyfield a couple of problems. Well, every sign, Reg, is going to be as good as the previous one.
Strangely enough, the Duva family, who managed Holyfield for the last time, they thought the return was going to be easily as tough. That surprised them, and they know their business. Eddie Futz thought it would be a good fight, at least until Bowe started getting on top. So coming up the end of the second then, the WBA and IBF versions of the Heavyweight Championship of the World. Gets well, it's getting hotter in the ring, but it's certainly getting colder outside. Popping out the gum shield, the only thing allowed above the waist for protection by boxers.
Once in a while instead before you throw it. Pain or not, because he's a little tight. You react.
Break one off, okay? Because you get him tired, then you're going to turn it on.
They've got to work hard, these cornermen here, haven't they? Already getting the bruises and contusions of battle.
You don't need too much. You don't like too much isolation. You don't get that.
Ralph Citro there is a great record book compiler there. Is also the cut man, but there isn't any cuts there. He's just getting the bruises down.
Every time you shoot that right hand, roll a count.
Almost like putting on the makeup. This is for a Rocky film there, but this is the real thing. So I don't know who's in that balloon up there. He hasn't got much of a view though, as he was ever paid to see it from that here. Round 3. Big Daddy wrapping it up there in the second round of it. Evander Holyfield had a 12-rounder last June against Alex Stewart. It didn't look particularly good in that. It was seen on ITV. He's a no-nonsense referee, Bill Zane. Broomstick in that left-hand jab. As close as we are to it, you can hear it padding in.
It's the length he has in the jab that's given Holyfield the problem. Holyfield doesn't want to get too involved. He's trying to nick in, land 2 or 3 shots and get out again. But just a couple of inches extra that Bowe has in the jabs, catching him as he comes forward.
6'5", Riddick Bowe. 6'1", Holyfield. Although he was shorter than that when he was a cruiserweight, so I don't know whether the management put him in a grow bag.
And Eddie Futz has been telling Bowe just to be patient, so he's looking maybe for him to take over in the second half of the fight, just be patient in the first 4 or 5 rounds or so.
Bowe says that heavyweight champions of the world should take their man out as quickly as they can. Let them know who's boss. Just trying to make him jab for jab.
Playing a bit ahead again, Reg.
Yeah, a minute to go in this round. He's getting a bit angry there, Bowe, isn't he?
Yeah, complaining a bit ahead again. There was a little flash there. And that's the problem when the opponent's shorter than you are. If there's a clash, you're going to come off worse. Holyfield's tactics are good, Reg. He's not staying in the one spot too long. He's getting his punches off and then moving out.
Yeah, he's nice and mobile. Talked about the uppercut. I haven't seen that close in by Bowe. Had a picky spot with that, I would think. Coming up to the end of the third round. Ooh, the old 1-2 there. The left hand and the right hand followed in. Absorbs a good punch though, Evander Holyfield. That's one of his hallmarks, I must say.
We're getting to slow down now.
Yeah, please.
Keep that stick going. Keep that stick going.
That stick is the left-hand jab, he means by that.
You use the hook and cord.
Jim, have a look at this.
Yeah, well, excellent jabbing from Bowe. I still feel that for a heavyweight, the jab, the best punch in the book. That was when they complained about the little clash of heads as they moved in. Okay, never mind complaining, just got on with the job. That's the second time he's complained, but nothing intentional. just that Holyfield's boring his way in. He's that little bit smaller, but
oh, well, that was
good
a
punching.
pat on the back almost there, that right hand punch. That must have hurt as well.
Okay,
So the big tank there, Holyfield's corner, Emmanuel Stewart trying to outsmart Eddie Futch in the other corner. Between them, they really are fountains of wisdom. Fourth round. And he's, you know, Jim, to use a boxing expression, he fancies the jump a bit, Holyfield, really, doesn't he?
Well, he's always had the pride, Reg, and that's what any sport's all about, just having pride in yourself, not to let yourself or your people down. Holyfield's always had that in abundance, and he's only lost the one fight, remember. You see the difference when the jabs land, with the power.
Oh,
Bowe has in
absolutely.
his real solid.
Oh, that was a low blow too. I thought Mills Lane was going to pull him up, but he doesn't want to stop the action for that. See, this is the oldest axiom in the game, Jim, isn't it? The good Bigham will always beat the good Litland. But how can you call them Litlands? I keep saying that, 15 stone 7.
It's just as long as Bowe hasn't taken Holyfield lightly, Reg. And this is a man you have to give 100% respect. A little uppercut inside there from Bowe.
Yeah, that's it.
See, they're close up a little bit longer now in this round than they've been in any of the previous rounds. The pace is slowing, and this is where you have to expect Bowe to start taking charge a little bit with his strength.
Real quality fighters, heavyweights, aren't they, these? Bit surprised that Holyfield's willing to stand in and trade close in like that, Jim.
I don't know if it's by choice, Reg. I mean, he was doing quite well with the mobile stuff. But this is a big fellow, and mixing it with big fellow certainly takes his steam out of your legs.
Minute to go in the fourth.
Also at long range he was being out jabbed now and again. So maybe he feels he just has to get close and try it once again the hard way.
Oh, what punch is sinking in here. You can hear the oohs and ahs coming from the back of this arena. And certainly from me at ringside as well. Almost feeling the punches with them. Punching it out now as we come to the last 10 seconds of round 4.
Holyfield's work rate is good in this round, Reg.
Yeah, he's had a good round. After the bell, this will keep going. I knew it would. And they've flown in there. The referee can't get in the second. Emmanuel Stewart looked like getting caught there. They've actually hauled Holyfield back to the corner. I could see that was definitely going to happen there, Jim, couldn't you? I mean, they really steamed themselves up as the bell went. I haven't seen that for a long time.
Some facial damage here, Reg. It looks like notice a cut in the eye.
Yeah.
Bowe's cut. Even the referee didn't hear the bell then, and a lot of punches were landed after the bell.
You see, you may have heard that bell at home much clearer than you could hear it in the ring, actually.
Looks to me like 2 bits of damage on the same eye, Reg.
Yeah.
One in the middle and a little nick on the outside. Not a bad round for Holyfield.
Let's have a look at the finish here. See, look at those bumping and boring heads there now. Bowe caught Holyfield there.
Yeah, well, Holyfield really went for it there, Reg, and a few signs that he did have the power to trouble the big man. I mean, the bell had gone long before this exchange.
Round 5. Now then, are they going to calm down or are they going to keep this war going? The last thing we want to see is a contest actually to be finished by injuries. That's either way, of course. I don't think they're serious, those cuts, though. I think Ralph Citro has taken pretty good care of those with Riddick Bowe. Usually adrenaline swab there, that's all that's permitted by the boxing commissions.
Holyfield backing the big man up, Reg, and if they can manage to do this, he certainly shortens the odds that are against him. If he can back Bowe up, Reg, it gives him a chance.
Holyfield was saying that before the fight. I heard him say it, that I've boxed with him as an amateur. I know things have changed since, but if you put pressure on him, and you've got him on the run, Bowe, you can win the fight. And I didn't do that last time, but I want to do it this time.
Bowe is actually looking a little bit looser, Reg. His defences have loosened.
Absolutely.
He's not quite as tight and compact as he was. I don't know what's going on here, if he's taking a breather or what's happening here, but he's going to have to tighten up and try to take charge. I wonder if already he's feeling the pace. That was a hectic round, the previous one.
Oh. Just look out for that. Bowe waits for him to come in, and he whipped that uppercut in there. He might not have seen that probably, and I don't think Holyfield did either.
The injury bleeding again, just in the top of Bowe's nose. Holyfield a little bit sharper than Bowe at this stage, Reg.
Minute to go in this round, and the crowd really getting with the underdog now, aren't they?
Well, as they come into the ring, Holyfield is really expecting a war. Maybe Bowe wasn't. Maybe Bowe was thinking he would handle him easier this time. Holyfield prepared and ready for a real hard battle.
Trying to remember if Bowe has been cut in a fight before, Jim. I can't remember.
I don't think so. I don't remember
think he
him being
has.
cut.
I think he's been hit too much either. Only in the previous fight with Holyfield, obviously.
Bowe is not looking in charge, Reg. Look, actually he's looking in trouble, never mind in charge.
Absolutely. I wonder if they'll go on after the bell here. It's getting right to the end of the round, and Holyfield well on top. He's in trouble there, Riddick, Bowe.
He looks exhausted, Reg. He looks tired.
Looks exhausted. He looks as if, well, have I trained hard enough for this fight? And everything that Holyfield said before this fight, that he was going to apply a lot of pressure, get this fellow on the run, has started to pay off.
Yeah, that side, right here.
Well, he's got to get time to catch our breath here, Jim, let alone the fighters. But he really was rocking at the end of that round. Let's have another look. Blowing hard, wasn't he?
Well, Holyfield finished the previous round better, and he picked up on this one. His pace is better, his punching's better, and Bowe actually was lost a couple of times in that round. See, look, not knowing where to go, he's lost all the urgency. Good shot, he's bang on his chin, he's not coming back with anything. Bowe produced virtually nothing in that round.
So they are. Battle continues then, round 6 coming up. And some terse orders there coming from Eddie Futch to Riddick Bowe. Take time off? No, I don't know what the delay was there, getting the shield in, I think.
See, Reg, every sport's the same. If you're not psyched up for a real battle before it starts, you can't do it during. Maybe Bowe thought he was going to get right into control, and it was going to be far easier than the previous one. In fact, it's harder.
Well, I mean, you know, Jim, if you had a poll of the American and indeed the British boxing riders around here, 42 of them, there was only 2 that thought that Holyfield could win.
Maybe looking at the bookies' odds of maybe suspected Bowe. See, there's no sharpness in what he's doing. I think he's feeling the pace. I think he's lost a lot of steam already. But where's the sharp jab, Reg?
Yeah, it's the way it's turned around to him is remarkable. It's as though Bowe's saying to himself, well, or trying to impart to Holyfield, come on, let's take our time here, let's calm down. He's just not unleashing the punches that he'd done at the start, Jim.
Reg, it looks to me that he's lost a lot of steam. He should be pushing Holyfield back. These punches are bang on target from Holyfield.
Brilliant. he was saying, Jim, it's as though Bowe was saying, I didn't really expect this, and it sickened him a little bit. Now, I don't know whether we're misreading it or not, but that's my impression anyway.
There's definitely been something missing from Bowe the last couple of rounds. The sharpness, he's lost the sharpness. Holyfield still has it.
Minute to go in the sixth. Oh. Now he's pushing Holyfield back a bit now. It's a bit rough.
He's not getting enough punches off.
Drop a right hand, and the crowd reacted to that. So the last few seconds now of the sixth round. So let's go back to the studio and hear from Lennox Lewis.
I thought that was a very interesting round. As you can see, Holyfield looks very sharp, but it's still early days yet, and the fight still has a long way to go. Bowe looks like he's blowing it a hell of a lot, and he's cut, so he could be worried about his cut. He looks very tired, but he still can come out with his big punches. Right here you see Holyfield catching with a good combination. He should just step up the pace and just stay on him. Good fast punches combination. The left hook, the right hand got through there. That's what Holyfield should be doing.
Okay, thanks Lennox, and well, as you see, there's Ralph Citro, the cut man, getting out the ring there, having to work on those injuries. By boxing standards, they don't look that serious, but well, cuts are never a good thing, obviously. Out for the seventh round. The overhead view of it. Now, and Bowe start now getting sort of a bit more aggressive and saying, hey, I'm the champ, I want to take over, because we've been impressed with Holyfield in the last couple of rounds.
Yeah, they're fairly tilted the points back in his direction, Reg. They can be fairly level. If you give Bowe the first 3 rounds, you can certainly, if you wanted, give Holyfield the last 3. His punches have been far better. But this is what Bowe has to do. Well, he's still got it left to do.
Yeah, that's right. I think they've shaken him up in the corner and saying, hey, what are you doing? Throwing this fight away. Open up with him.
See, he's got the advantages. He's going to have to use them. And he's not using them if he allows Holyfield to back him up. Busier with the jab again. This is what he was doing earlier. He's got to try to control Holyfield with that jab.
Oh dear, there's only a parachutist hit the ropes. I do not believe this clown, where he has come from. Unreal. Well, everything happens in the fight game. Take time off, the referee said. I would think so. How on earth did that guy came in like that? Oh my God.
Well, Reg, he doesn't know what he is.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I've never seen so much security, policemen. Only in America can this happen.
He's actually hit the canopy above the ring, Reg.
Yeah,
his parachute is still jammed up there.
That's right, and he hit the ropes though.
Yes, he actually, his feet were actually right inside the ring.
He got underneath the canopy. Oh dear, I'm glad he didn't fall on us here, Jim, I tell you that. Well, what can we do? That's absolutely ridiculous. See, they've got to pull that parachute down, because the people who've paid, I mean, up to $800 here, remember, $100 to $800, they won't be able to see the fight. But I've never seen so many policemen, all like sentinels around the ropes here, waiting for this clown, whoever he is. I tell you what, he's made himself famous.
Well, Reg, we've seen the ring invaded before, but never from the sky.
Oh dear. How on earth did he do it? What I mean is,
Well, what's he doing parachuting at night, Reg?
Exactly. I mean, it's unreal.
Well, what a nutcase. Who's going to be parachuting at night.
Well, this, you know, this is the sort of town where anything can happen and does happen.
Folks, if you'll find your seats right here, we'll be underway in just a few minutes, please. If you weren't seated here...
We were 1 minute into round 7 then, Jim, so presumably we've got to have a 2-minute round when it restarts.
Just a moment.
Well, I tell you what, you may never have seen or heard of us again if you'd have known our side of the ring, because, you know, that whole machine looked so frightening when he came down.
We will be underway. Referee Mills Lane is ready. The fighters are ready. We are waiting for the resumption of... We'll resume where we left off in round 7. This is the resumption of round 7. We'll be underway in just a moment.
Judy is pregnant, and she was overcome with emotions. This is the strangest thing I've ever seen in my life. Some kind of way or the other, it seems like when we're involved in a boxing match, you can expect the unexpected.
Well, now the obvious question is, your fighter's in the ring, he's going to continue. Is he aware that anything happened to Judy?
No, he's not. He's not aware that anything happened. I'm just really disappointed because he had taken the first part of the fight. Holyfield had come back, and Riddick, just his momentum was just coming back right when all of this happened. So I'm very disappointed that this happened.
Knowing your fighter like you do, what do you think is going to have, what kind of effect on his mindset?
Well, this is a strange set of circumstances I don't think anyone has ever had to deal with before. I'm just hoping that he's able to get back in and focus. They got to run, Jim.
So there, I'll restart it after almost 20 minutes now. And the word is well, Rob Newman just passed us there. The manager of Bowe says no, Riddick's not aware that his wife was taken away. So now, well, it all seems very peaceful now, doesn't it? A big fight, Jim, instead.
Well, it had really reached an important part, Reg, as I say, because we were waiting to see could Bowe turn it back in his favour. He had the first 3 rounds. You could certainly have given Holyfield at least 2 of the next 3, possibly the 3 of them. His work was a lot better. So a finely balanced heavyweight fight. Now, I really felt by now Bowe would really be taken over, but that's not the case.
Not easy for him to come back, Jim, you know, get sparking up again. They must have been cold, because I keep emphasising, I mean, it's in the mid-40s here at the moment. The only minor advantage Riddick Bowe might have got out of that, of course, is a bit longer for them to be able to coagulates on the eye there, just cut around the left eye. There was half a chance to not heal, but to, well, staunch any blood flow. He's firing on all cylinders, Holyfield, isn't he?
Really boxing well, Holyfield. He's pumping the punches out, not punching in 1s, he's punching 3s and 4s. Obviously makes it difficult to score that round, Reg, with the break after the first minute.
Yeah, there you are. There's Mrs. Jackson being taken out there.
Give the 2 fighters a hand here. They've been waiting and they are ready to rumble again.
The ambulances are always on site, part of the boxing regulation, but nobody expects a member of the crowd like that to need it. Get the odd fainting, I suppose, occasionally, but nothing worse. So a lot of patching up going on in both corners, actually, more so on Bowe's face.
Take the belt back home and be in church tomorrow. That's it. Take it back. Boys, they'll shoot you 1-2-1.
Round 8. Fight a, you know, a really good competitive fight, but we didn't need that ridiculous interruption.
I think Bowe must move up a gear if he has a gear to move up into, Reg. It's just that little bit slow. Holyfield looking the sharper, pumping the punches out.
Made a lot of noise, that punch, Jim, didn't it?
Both stalking Reg, but not really throwing many punches, and he's kind of pawing with his jab at the moment.
I mean, Holyfield, judging him his last fight with Alex Stewart, I mean, very disappointing. A different guy altogether. Of course, the opposition makes a difference. I mean, Stewart didn't really want to fight. And,
also, Reggie was always in control against Stewart. He didn't have to produce anything better than he was producing. Bowe has to turn this into a war, Reg. He's allowing Holyfield too much space and allowing him to get too many punches off. He's the bigger and the stronger. He has to turn this into a war.
We said there's a chance of it measuring up to their first match here, but it's certainly doing that, really, isn't it? It may not be quite as good, but near enough.
Punch out, 2 hands are free.
Minutes to go in this round.
His eye bleeding again. See, these are good shots from Holyfield. I certainly like Holyfield's punches better than Bowe's. Bowe's toying a bit with the jab. Holyfield's getting them out in combinations. See, the last time they fought, Bowe was the challenger, Reg. He was the real hungry one. Holyfield's looking the hungrier at this moment.
All right, we sit back a minute.
Couldn't believe a fellow with plenty of money, and he really does have a lot of money, Holyfield. Really want to do this. Just shows you, though, this is all a gladiatorial game at this stage, Jim, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all about being the heavyweight champion of the world, Reg.
Every man's envy, wasn't it? And after the bell, no, Mills Lane's in.
You're around, baby. Just put it on ahead. You're around.
Well, it's heated up in every sense now. I mean, the referee's very aware now when the bell goes to him, he has to dive in there. Actually, the timekeeper makes a little clatter of a noise to warn the seconds that it's the last 10, and I suspect that the referee can hear that too. Hasn't really worsened those cuts, Jim. Have a look at it again.
I just don't think Bowe is getting enough punches off. His punches are stronger than Holyfield's, but Holyfield's getting them out in combinations. Real good quality shots from Holyfield. See, Bowe really has to move up a gear. He has to make this a harder battle than it is at the moment. He has to make it a war. Then maybe his strength can get him in control.
The 9th round, scheduled of course for 12, the WBA and IBF versions of the Heavyweight Championship of the world. Reminder, of course, there's 3 judges from the Nevada state and the referee who doesn't vote.
He's got his jab moving again a little bit better. See, he has to get his punches off. He's waiting for Holyfield to throw the lead.
Oh,
this is
right
more like it.
That's more like it.
See, he has to back the man up, Reg, and he has to get his punches off first.
Some desperation there, isn't there, and determination by Bowe.
For the last few rounds, Bowe has been stalking and allowing Holyfield to lead off.
Well, they're accurate jabs now from Riddick, Bowe.
When Bowe uses the jab properly, Reg, he really gets himself in the driving seat.
All the great fighters over the years, Ali, Joe Louis, always have a good left hand. Larry Holmes, good jabbers, and that's what Bowe can do. How have you got it at this stage, Jim?
I've got them dead level, Reg. I had them level after the 6 rounds. I gave the first 3 to Bowe, the next 3 to Holyfield. The 7th was difficult because of the way it was interrupted. I'll give Holyfield 1 since. But this looks like Bowe's round here.
Waiting for him to come in there, Bowe, with the right-hand counter.
I want to step back.
Well, I tell you what, Jim, that last fight we thought might have taken too much out of Holyfield. It hasn't been so.
Tremendous round this.
Oh, right to the bell. This might go on after the bell if we're not careful. They've just come in. There it is. Oh, he was about to. I don't know why the crowd are jeering on that. I would have thought they would excite them at the thought of wanting to keep fighting all the time, even at their extra time, but they don't get paid to fight between rounds.
We got to go from here.
A little sign of weariness from Holyfield at the end of that round, Reg.
Yeah, exactly.
10th round, baby. We got to go. These got to take all of these rounds here. You got the belt. You got to win these 9 minutes.
Yeah, what he's saying there, Jim, you've got to take all of these rounds and you've got the belt.
But you got to let the punches go down. Whether you're boxing or slugging, but let him go off. We hesitate a little bit more, okay? Let him go. Let him go, because if he go with you, he gonna get tighter than you are. He's a big man.
Have a look at it again.
Yeah, well,
so you just show it there. Look, you can see he's distressed there, can't you, Holyfield?
Yeah, you see, just for the first time for quite a few rounds, Bowe started using his advantages again.
So please there from Emmanuel Stewart to Holyfield, let your punches go, doesn't matter whether it's boxing or fighting. Round 10. Well, the majority of the quote-unquote experts thought this was going to go about 5 or 6 rounds. Oh yes, this is a different Bowe, Jim.
Yeah, well, he must know it. He needs it, Reg. He certainly lost a grip in the fight. Allowed Holyfield right back in. Well, Holyfield, a few signs of weariness in the last minute of the previous round. So maybe just the sheer size of the job now taking its toll on him. He's boxed a lot better than I thought he would be able to.
He's backing off a bit more now, Holyfield. Every punch, Jim, has got power, isn't it? There's no sort of taps and flaps, dunks as you call them in Scotland, is it?
Yeah, it's been a great battle, Reg. And they've just stood in range all the way through. Nobody looking to hide.
She's combination punching now, Bowe. For 2 rounds he was over sleep, didn't he?
I got the impression that maybe Bowe had underestimated the task a couple of rounds ago. He seems to have got his attitude back.
Yeah, he's kind of fought himself into shape, hasn't he? As though he needed those rounds to get going.
Step back again. Here we go. Come on.
Minute to go in the 10th. This, of course, was the great round of their last fight. But, well, you couldn't hope for that again, I don't think. This is good enough. signs of tiredness there, Jim, I suspect, don't you?
A little wonder, Reg. I mean, what a pace it's been. Holyfield's coming back now. Unbelievable.
Not only the pace, it's the strength of the punches going in there. What a great fight this has turned out. Interruption or not, all the problems they've had, and what a punch-up. It's nearly, Jim, this 10th round is going to be as good as the last one.
Punched right out of his mouth, Reg.
Yeah, he's in trouble here.
Punched his gum shield right out. What a round. Well, I couldn't split them in that round, Reg.
Yeah, the referee leaned out through the ropes and pulled that back. But Bowe looked in bother.
That was the hardest round of the fight so far, and the best punch was landed by Holyfield just at the end of it. Knocked the gum shield clean out of his mouth.
And Ralph Citro taking over there wearing the protective gloves, of course, which are now awarded in the American rings. The protection against HIV, whether it's any blood flowing. I don't know what that chart was. I mean, you know, anything they want to say in Ali's favour is always in mind, but I don't quite know. Holly, they're calling there. I thought it was Ali for a minute. Yeah, the underdog they've taken to him, the audience.
Holyfield's on his feet earlier for the round. He's still full of the business.
So the 11th coming up now.
So this is testing Bowe's desire, Reg. We always knew about Holyfield's. This is testing Bowe's.
He was the governor in the start of that 10th round, but right at the finish there, he definitely looked in a bit of trouble.
Well, I found it difficult to split them in the 10th round there, Reg. Bowe started better.
And Holyfield finished better, you're right.
I've scored the 7th and the 10th both even in 4 rounds each apart from that, so I still got them level.
Don't you dare say there's another draw coming up, Jim. I couldn't take that. I really admire Holyfield for this fight, Jim. You know, the man we all thought hadn't got anything left. Why did he come back? Now we know he's still got it.
Let him go, Evander. Let him go. Step back. Let him go. Come on.
Done a good job here, the referee, Jim, hasn't he? I mean, they're big fellas to push around.
Yeah, he's kept under control. Well, a couple of bits of bad temper showed up at the end of rounds when they wanted to fight on. The referee's handled it well.
He's fearless. He gets in there when the punches are flowing. So he's given them every chance to fight inside there. He's not calling break until he spots them actually holding.
Both very tired.
Yeah, they're punching themselves out now. And we got a minute to go in this round. Yeah, they're the Holly chants again. I have to say I'm mistaken. I'm so used to hearing the alley ones that I'd forgotten that they do it for Holy. So let's go Bowe now, they're retaliating.
How do you split them, Reg? It's just punch for punch here. Punch for punch.
Cracking fight, Jim, isn't it?
It's a great fight.
See, they're more spectacular from Holyfield. At the back of the arena here, they really cheer that punch. Not protecting himself there, Riddick, Bowe.
Let's get back.
Well, that bell's beginning to sound like a little orchestra chiming, Jim. They're so pleased when that was over, both of them. They're blowing hard, and you can understand that. I mean, the weight of these fellas pounding away the whole time.
And that round was just punch for punch. Every time one landed a punch, the other one come back with one.
And you can fight him just the way you're fighting him, in close.
Let's have a look at the replay then.
I mean, look at this. Holyfield comes in with one, Bowe comes back. I just get a feeling possibly Holyfield's punch is just that little bit cleaner than Bowe's. It was just a little bit better delivery. Right at the end of the round, Holyfield looked just a bit ready to take over again.
Holy. You got 3 minutes. 3 minutes.
Round number 12. The final round, the round of applause.
The MC calling for a round of applause for the final round. Oh, there's a nice gesture, isn't it? I've said before, it's like the old dentist handshake waiting for the extraction to come. Respect for each other, I like that one.
A low punch from Bowe there, definitely low.
I hear that Barry McGuigan, our point scorer back there in London, Jim, has got 107 to 105, and he's got Holyfield in front. I wouldn't like to split them. I don't like fence sitting, but I fancy doing it in this fight. There you are, though. You may get a difference of opinion actually in judging from ringside and from the view in London.
Hey, come on. Get him up now, come on, those punches up. It's round 1, come on.
You're saying round 1 there, the referee. If you get on with it. 2 minutes to go. Certainly the crowd favourite there, Holyfield, no doubt about that. What a final round it's going to be too.
Well, up to this moment, Bowe looking the better in the last round.
Yeah, he's having the better of it here. It's going for him a bit. Oh, punch under there.
Hey, get those punches up, come on.
There they go to a third fight, Jim. There's got to be some controversy here, whichever way it goes.
No matter what the verdict is, we could stand another one of this, couldn't we?
Yeah, any time.
Get back, here we go, come on.
Final minute. No knockdowns, but every other ingredient you can have in a big fight, this one.
Well, Bowe winning the last round, Reg, and that may just sway me in his direction, because I've had it as close as that.
Well, I think they might give it to Bowe.
I've had them level after 10, I couldn't split the 11.
What a finish. Half a minute.
The gum shield.
Oh, that's a pity. Just broken
shield.
up the rhythm there. He's pushing him back to neutral corner, and he has to wait the appropriate time to pick up the gum shield. That's the regulation.
Bowe has nothing left, Reg. The first 2 minutes in the last round, I think he's used up his tank. Here he comes back again, but Holyfield coming back a little bit now. See the experience of the old pro Holyfield.
Last 10.
Just when you think he's got nothing left, he comes back in the last half minute of the round. I've still got to give this round to Bowe.
Crowd on their feet here. What a finish! Sit down! Sit down! Look at this here. It's full of people rushing in the ring, knocking them over there, Jim.
Yeah, well,
it's absolutely ridiculous.
He just simply didn't hear the bell. A little bit of a bad temper. Holyfield landed a punch after the bell, but not intentionally, and Bowe reacted. That's what happened there.
Well, the invasion of the ring is absolutely ridiculous. Stewart had to jump on Holyfield there. Well, we're getting our breath back, Jim. Can you imagine what the fighters are like there? It's an incredible finish. Section of the British press there, you can see the editor of the trade paper, Quality News. Jim?
What a tremendous battle, and Bowe come back in the last round for me, and won the round certainly with the work he put out in the first couple of minutes. Then he had very little left. Holyfield, with the old experienced old pro, come back with some decent work in the last half minute of the round. But I still had to score that last round for Bowe. You see, what's always kept us tight is the fact that Holyfield's punching has been so cleanly delivered on target. And in the real close rounds, that may have just swayed it his way, I don't know. I feel that possibly the last round just nicks at that one round in Bowe's favour. See, a little bit of bad temper here. The bell had rung there. Purely unintentional punch after the bell from Holyfield. I mean, in most of the rounds that they haven't actually heard the bell. The referee a couple of times didn't hear it. So just it's a pity the fight had to end like that.
Yeah, and the man who stood fell on top of his fighter there, Holyfield. The seconds are able to be brave here as well, diving in all the time. But that was the way the fight went, Jim. You know, they'd probably be old pals when I don't know, depends. The loser might not like this, if there is a loser.
Ladies and gentlemen, here at Season Palace, we go to the scorecards. Chuck Jampa scores the bout, 114. 114, he has it even.
Oh dear, an even one right away. I don't like the sound
Jarman
of this.
Scores the bout, 115 to 114. Jerry Roth scores it, 115 to 113 for the winner by majority decision. And once again, heavyweight champion of the world from Atlanta, Georgia.
So there it is, Evander Holyfield has won it. Well, there it is, the underdog, Jim, 5-1 against. A real close call fight, that one. I thought, like you did, that maybe Bowe would get it. Barry McGuigan had Holyfield in front at a couple of rounds at one stage there. And let's put it this way, Jim, he probably just deserved it, didn't he?
You can't argue in a fight like that, when it was one punch for one punch, you couldn't argue with that.